Hey Vikings Nation, are you ready for this one? Because what I'm about to break down might shake everything we thought we knew about the Minnesota Vikings defense heading into this season. There's buzz, there's speculation, and yes, there's pressure building around one of our biggest defensive stars. Now here's the teaser. Multiple teams are circling, and the name at the center of it all is Jonathan Greenard. That's right. A Pro Bowl caliber edge rusher, a key piece of this Vikings defense, and suddenly he's being mentioned in trade conversations. So the big question is this real movement or just off-season noise? Stay with me because this story gets deeper, and the implications for the Vikings could be massive. The Philadelphia Eagles are once again hunting for pass rush dominance. This is a team that lives and breathes pressure on the quarterback, and right now, they feel like they're missing that one elite piece to complete the puzzle. If you look at their recent history, they've always leaned heavily on strong edge play. From past contributors to recent names, the Eagles have consistently invested in that position, trying to stay ahead of the curve in the trenches. But heading into the next season, there's a clear gap. They have talent, no doubt, but not that true game wrecker. And that's where the Vikings enter the conversation. Jonathan Greenard has quietly become one of the most impactful defenders on this Vikings roster. His ability to disrupt plays, pressure quarterbacks, and change momentum is exactly what teams like Philadelphia crave. And now, reports suggest that the Eagles aren't just casually interested. They're actively monitoring the situation. This isn't just a random rumor floating around. There's smoke here. But here's where things get interesting. The Eagles aren't alone. Another team has entered the picture, and it could complicate everything for Minnesota. The Indianapolis Colts are also reportedly in the mix. Just like Philadelphia, they're in win-now mode and looking to strengthen their pass rush immediately. This isn't surprising when you think about it. Teams that believe they're close to contending often make aggressive moves, especially for defensive stars who can shift the balance of power in big games. And Greenard fits that mold perfectly. He's not just good. He's a system fit for multiple defensive schemes, making him even more valuable across the league. Now let's slow down for a second, Vikings fans. Before panic sets in, there's something important to understand. Interest does not equal a deal. Just because teams are calling doesn't mean the Vikings are ready to move on. In fact, this could be nothing more than due diligence from other franchises trying to test the waters. But still, when multiple teams show this level of interest, it raises questions. What is Minnesota thinking right now behind the scenes? Reports indicate that the Eagles have even explored the possibility of working out a contract extension with Greenard if a trade were to happen. That's not small talk, that's serious intent. When a team starts thinking long-term about a player they don't even have yet, you know they're invested in the idea. They're not just browsing, they're planning. And that's exactly why this situation is getting attention across the league. Because this could turn into something real, fast. At the same time, the Vikings hold all the leverage here. They don't have to rush into anything. Greenard is a proven asset, and his value isn't going anywhere overnight. In fact, Minnesota can afford to wait. If the asking price isn't met, they can simply hold onto one of their best defensive players and continue building around him. That's a powerful position to be in. But it also means the front office has a big decision to make. Let's talk timing. With the NFL draft approaching, this is when things usually start heating up across the league. Teams begin to finalize strategies, identify gaps, and make aggressive moves to position themselves for success. That's when trade talks often escalate. So if something were to happen involving Greenard, the next few weeks could be critical. But as of now, there's no indication that a deal is imminent. That's key. Interest is high, but action hasn't followed yet. And sometimes that's how these situations play out. Weeks of rumors, speculation, and build-up before either a sudden deal or complete silence. So Vikings fans, how are you feeling about this? Would you even consider moving on from Greenard if the price was right? Or is he untouchable in your eyes? A cornerstone piece that Minnesota must keep no matter what? Drop your thoughts in the comments because this is one of those debates that can split the fan base. From a football standpoint, losing a player like Greenard would create a massive void in the pass rush. That's not something you can easily replace overnight. Even with draft picks or compensation, proven production at that level is rare. And the Vikings know that, which is why any potential deal would have to be absolutely worth it. On the flip side, if the Vikings were to receive a strong package, multiple picks, maybe even players, it could accelerate a different kind of roster build. That's the balancing act. Immediate impact versus long-term flexibility. And right now, Minnesota is right in the middle of that decision-making process. Meanwhile, teams like the Eagles and Colts are watching closely, ready to strike if the opportunity presents itself. They know what Greenard brings to the table. They know how valuable he could be in a playoff push. And they're not afraid to make a move if the door opens. So keep your eyes locked on this situation, because things can change fast in the NFL. One phone call, one offer, one shift in strategy, and suddenly everything looks different. That's the reality of this league, especially this time of year. For now, Vikings fans, we wait, we watch, and we analyze every new update that comes in. Because whether this turns into a blockbuster trade or fades away as off-season noise, it tells us something important about how the league views Minnesota's talent. And that alone is worth paying attention to. If you made it this far, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss breaking Minnesota Vikings news. And most importantly, share this with another Vikings fan, because this conversation is just getting started.